Most people think low intelligence is obvious. Bad grades, low IQ, big, embarrassing mistakes. But psychologists discovered something unsettling. Low intelligence usually hides in small, invisible habits. Habits so normal, people never question them. And here's the uncomfortable truth. These habits don't just signal low intelligence. They train your brain to become less intelligent over time. Once you see them, you'll start spotting them everywhere. In friends, co-workers, strangers, and maybe even yourself. Let's start with one that fools almost everyone. Magical thinking. Some people live like reality runs on luck. They wear the same lucky clothes, avoid certain numbers, believe specific colors attract money or love. It sounds harmless, even funny, but psychology has a name for this: magical thinking. It happens when the brain confuses coincidence with cause. Something good happens once, and the brain locks onto whatever random detail was nearby. From that moment on, logic gets replaced by ritual. Real intelligence pauses and asks, "Where's the evidence?" Lower intelligence skips that step and builds beliefs out of coincidence. Over time, this weakens critical thinking because the brain stops testing reality. Chronic sleep neglect. Here's a habit people actually brag about. I only sleep 4 hours. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I function fine. No, you don't. Psychology is brutally clear here. Sleep deprivation destroys memory, focus, emotional control, and judgment. After just one bad night of sleep, your brain performs like you're legally drunk. Intelligent people protect sleep like a weapon because they understand something most people don't. Neglecting sleep isn't discipline. It's slow, cognitive self-destruction. Avoiding time alone. Some people can't handle silence. No music feels uncomfortable. No TV feels unbearable. No phone feels threatening. So they fill every quiet moment with noise. Psychology shows this constant distraction often signals weak internal processing. Intelligent minds use solitude to organize thoughts, solve problems, and reflect. Lower intelligence avoids silence because silence forces confrontation with unprocessed thoughts. If you can't sit alone for 10 minutes without reaching for stimulation, that's not being social, that's avoidance. Living on small talk. You've met them. They talk constantly, but say absolutely nothing. Weather, traffic, weekends, complaints. Small talk is fine as an entry point, but when it's the entire conversation, psychologists link it to a low need for cognition. That means avoiding effortful thinking. Intelligent people crave ideas, patterns, and meaning, not just verbal noise. Conversation reveals how deeply someone thinks. Confidence without content. The loudest person in the room, interrupting, explaining, correcting, sounds confident until you listen closely. There's no substance. Psychology calls this the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with the least knowledge often feel the most certain. True intelligence looks quieter. It says, "I don't know." It asks questions. It listens. Fake intelligence hides behind volume. Blind rule following. Some people follow instructions even when reality screams otherwise. If the manual says it, they do it, even if it makes no sense. This isn't discipline, it's mental laziness. Smarter minds adapt when conditions change. Lower intelligence treats rules as sacred, even when they lead straight off a cliff. Falling for conspiracies. Flat Earth, microchips, planets ruining your mood. Conspiracies feel exciting because they offer simple answers to complex problems. But that's cognitive shortcutting. Psychology shows intelligence correlates with tolerance for uncertainty. Smart minds check evidence. Lower minds choose the most dramatic story that feels good. The danger? Belief replaces problem solving. Rigid thinking. Some people refuse to change. That's not how we do things. That'll never work. Not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. Psychologists call this mental inflexibility. Intelligence adapts, rigidity resists, and life punishes resistance. Instant gratification. Scroll now, snack now, swipe now. Why wait? Psychology shows constant dopamine rewards train the brain to avoid effort. The famous marshmallow experiments proved it. Those who couldn't delay gratification struggled later with finances, health, and discipline. Intelligent people endure short-term discomfort for long-term gain. Lower intelligence grabs every quick hit and calls it freedom. Poor listening. Some people don't listen. They wait to talk, interrupt, nod without processing. But listening is intelligence in action. It forces the brain to integrate new perspectives. Poor listeners often struggle with complexity, so they tune out instead. Smart minds learn from anyone. Low minds assume they already know everything. Reflex dismissal. That's stupid. That won't work. Instant rejection feels smart. It's not. It's the easiest cognitive escape. Intelligent people explore ideas before rejecting them. Lower intelligence avoids thinking and mistakes dismissal for wisdom. Doom scrolling and passive consumption. Entertainment isn't the problem. Endless consumption is. Studies show constant scrolling destroys focus and rewires attention for shallow stimulation. Smart people balance consumption with creation. Lower intelligence sinks into distraction and mistakes numbing for living. Blind trend following. New trend, new identity, new personality. Psychology calls this herd behavior. It feels safe to copy others. But intelligence asks, do I actually want this? If your identity changes with every trend, that's not expression, that's emptiness. Gaming without learning. We all know this person. Hours of play, zero improvement. The issue isn't gaming, it's failure to reflect. Intelligence learns patterns and adapts. Low intelligence repeats mistakes endlessly and blames everything else. Time spent doesn't equal growth. Reflection does. The real truth. Low intelligence isn't about genetics. It's about habits. Invisible behaviors repeated daily that slowly rewire the brain toward stagnation. Most people will hear this and return to the same habits that keep them average. But if you're the type who wants to understand psychology without sugarcoating, if you want to rewire your thinking at its roots, then stay here. Because every week on this channel, we break down the brutal psychological truths that most people avoid, but everyone needs.